positive, hip hop, and R&B gospel. This is UGN Jams. You're listening to Heartbeat on UGN Jams, sponsored by Zoe Records.
So I'm here with, welcome by the way, I'm with Dele, who is, my goodness, your list of things you've been in. And she is a trained actress. And I was really impressed that you trained at Mountain View Theatre School, because everyone I've met from Mount View Theatre School, they are just amazing. And they are just amazing actors, and they can learn their lines just like that. So you've trained at Mountain View. You're an actress, you're a singer-songwriter. And most recently, I was very impressed, is it Becoming You, a podcast host?
Yeah, Becoming podcast, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you've also been running a one-man show, which I had a little peep at in theatres, which is like a cultural sort of poetic monologue with music as well, and a band. So you've been doing that for quite some time. And also, can I just say how I know you? Because we keep on, like, our roads and paths keep on crossing. I know you are my heroes. You were the 6-piece band, gospel band, GK Real. And I remember Lanray, Carl Nova. I can't remember all the names of the people, so please, yeah, it was a great band from the 90s, is that right? For through to the early 2000s or the noughties?
Yeah, 2000s, yeah.
Yeah. And I've also known you as a, personally, you've given me a few great singing lessons. I think I've been on one of your amazing singing workshops as well. This is like over the 20 years that I've known you. Yeah. So there's been many, and also I think you actually directed an amazing gospel choir that we put together just for Christmas.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I completely forgot about that until the other day. So all these lovely personal experience, you know, that I've had knowing you as well. So it's been an absolute dream. One thing, when I saw, and also you're the mother of The Voice UK 2023 winner, Antonia Edwards. When I heard the name, I was like, Edwards. And also your husband's a brilliant music producer, and you're a mother of 2. Have you got 2 children?
Yeah.
2 children. And you're obviously a very musical family. So I'm giving some personal insight as well. And I wanted to talk to you today because I thought, wow, when I saw you guys jumping up and down when she won, I was like, wow, how must that feel to be the mother of the winner of The Voice UK? So I just wanted to have a chat, because obviously March is, you know, celebrating women. I just wanted to have a chat about yourself and your journey and motherhood, really. Just if that's okay to do all of that in one interview.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I'm a mother, and there's no book. I mean, I do have a brilliant book by Stormy Omari.
Martin?
It's it's this one. I'll give her a little mug. But which my friend gave me, that The Power of a Praying Parent, and they gave me this when I was pregnant. So, but of all the books I read about pregnancy and, you know, about having babies, when they come, it's like, wow, it's just a totally different thing. And there's no real, they don't come with a manual.
No, they miss the chapter that you need. They tell you everything else, but the very chapter that you need, it's like, it's not there. So you have to.
History. And you kind of have to work it out alone, because of course what might be all right for one child is not right for another child. So you having 2 children, we've got 2 children born at the same time, but they're so different. So yeah, how do you do it? I mean, so first of all, I don't know, you know, on your journey, so you know, and you have a grown-up daughter, and who is she 22?
26 now.
26. Wow, she looks young, and you look young for your age. You could pass as 26.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm going to also ask you for some beauty tips as well. So I don't know, and you're also from a Nigerian background. And what age did you come to this country? You were born here?
I was born here, and then I was 3, we moved back to Nigeria, and then I came back when I was 10.
Oh, so you've had a real experience of childhood in Nigeria and then come back. Oh, that's interesting. So which you prefer, Nigeria, England, or both completely different?
I think they're both completely different. Growing up, I hated the fact that my mum took us back to Nigeria. I mean, I didn't know it at the time. I think when I came back, we were like, no, we shouldn't have gone there, because we didn't live with our parents. So we lived with different people when we went. Right. So the experience wasn't the best. And she came back to collect us from Nigeria and bring us back here. And so that separation, there's 5 of us. So we had the separation of like living with each other, as in with my siblings, living with my parents as well. We just lived in different places.
Oh.
It was just like, I don't want to know that place ever again. I don't want to ever go back. I'm not Nigerian. Like, get me away from there. I was trying to run away, actually. Just like,
that's really interesting. So some of that could have affected your creativity. Now, I'm saying that because great creativity often comes through trauma, doesn't it? I mean, I'm wrong. I might be wrong, but I know that the soul of some of the songs come through some of those experiences. So talk to us about, I mean, one of your monologues, I heard a bit of it, was talking about steering creativity as a parent. And what, just elaborate on that. What does that mean? If I was to say, how did you steer your creativity as a parent? How would you answer that?
Well, in terms of myself, I think it took me a while to discover like that this is what creativity looks like. It's you thinking differently. It's you tapping into that stream that God has given you. It's your thought process, the way you do it. It's unique to each and every person. But I think what happens is, growing up, you just think it's better if you're someone else, or if you were born elsewhere, or if you weren't in your family. So it's actually, creativity is using what you have, what's in your toolbox. We can't choose our parents, and we can't choose where we're born. We land in this place, and we're meant to make the best of what we're given. But often, for ages, you're spending all this time trying to run away from what is intrinsically you, the person that God has created you to be, and you think, it's probably better on the other side. But as the saying goes, the grass is always greener on the other side, but when you get there, you have to water it. Right. I think you're still going to have to do some work. So it may look, as you're peering over to the other side, that, I'd prefer it if I looked this way, if I was born over there, if my parents had this much, or if, we come up with all these stories in our minds, but actually God doesn't make mistakes. And the way that I've had to key into my creativity, like you say, is through a lot of pain, and turning that into treasure. It's either you end up in deep depression, where you can't come out, where woe is me, where you have pity parties, and you're just going through life with such a heavy weight, or you say, well, this is what I've been dealt. What can I do with what I've been given? What are the opportunities? We all have a certain amount of privilege. It just doesn't look that way a lot of times. And so, I've had to really dig deep and pull out those things. And actually, in the midst of it, I didn't realize it was treasure until you walk through it. And then it's like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord. Thank you for taking me through what you took me through. Like what the enemy meant.
A bit like a rough diamond, when you go through the furnace and fine purifying gold. Wow, I didn't even know that side of you. So I hope I wasn't being too personal. And I say, because sometimes, I think I've seen from the outside, sometimes, Nigerian parents are often quite influenced on the educational side, and there's great expectations of you to, be a doctor or something medical, and for you to be able to steer creativity. Well, what do your parents? I mean, your parents still around now?
They are, yes, my mum and dad, but I didn't grow up with my dad. So my mum was here as a single mum raising us.
Right.
I used to sing in church, and I didn't know that singing could be a career path. That was the other thing. I just did it in church. I enjoyed it. So it's funny because the Lord was reminding me of this the other day. When I was growing up in Nigeria without my parents, I found a church that I used to go to, and I would go by myself. Singing was really a place of solace for me. It was where I felt like I could be safe and free from like the environment that I was in. So when I came over to this country, I would sing to myself it was like a comfort thing. And so I joined the choir. I've always done that, but I didn't know that it's something you could do as a career. It wasn't glamorous for me in that way, or I didn't see it as an option. And so I was involved in a local in another church, and they were having this local festival. So I sang Lean on Me and a few other kind of songs. And the guy came up to me and he was like, oh yeah, you've got an amazing voice. What are you studying in school? And I said, oh, I'm doing all the ologies, sociology, psychology. And he was like, why? Like, if you sing the way you sing, why aren't you studying, like, why don't you go and study this more? And I didn't even know that you could like do that in college. So I changed my course over and I went to do drama. And that's kind of where it began, that, oh, this is something that I could do. So I was in a group with my friends in school and we would go to studios and record. My mum wasn't sure about any of it. She was like, I don't know where you're going. I don't know what you're doing. I don't understand it. I did take some licks because sometimes I would come back late. I've been in the studio. What are you doing? Like, no one really could understand what this journey was. And then I finished my drama. And then my mum started to see that, oh, maybe there is something. And I would sing a lot more in church. And she could see that, oh, but she never forced me into doing something else. She just said, look, I can't choose a career for you because you're going to have to do it. My dad, on the other hand, when he found out I was going down the acting route, he wasn't pleased. He was like, can't you be a lawyer or something? Can't you do something?
Do a normal job, right?
And I don't know. It's hard, but I think even if they didn't want me to do it, I would have done it anyway, because for me, it's more than doing a job. I think it's
destiny,
but also it's therapy. That's what drama was for me, in learning, like escaping from myself and learning about other people and seeing how the world works. And that skill in itself will help you in life. And so I wasn't really thinking about what I'm going to be doing. I just needed to survive, this moment. And then I finished, and then my teacher said to me, oh, you can go to drama school. There's something called drama school that you can go to. And I was like, what do you do there? He said, well, you will be doing performing arts and you would meet other people, and it'll be focused on acting, singing. And I thought, oh, let me give it a shot. And then when I went for my audition, before I went for my audition, I found out I was pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I was not sure if I'd be able to go. Oh. And then my mom said to me, look, I will look after your daughter. Oh. You got to do what you need to do. And so I auditioned and I got in, and my daughter I got in, but they had to defer the process because they had too many people in. So they said, can you come the following year? And I said, fine. And so I didn't get to go until my daughter was 1.
Right.
Yeah. So I did 3 years in Mount View, in Wood Green. Mm-hmm. I didn't stay on site because I had a daughter. I was traveling.
Yeah.
And then when I finished, I landed a job. I did a musical, and then that's kind of how all of that began.
Straight away. So that was how God was in that, right? Because to land a job straight out of drama school is a good thing.
Difficult. Yes.
Mountain View does have this reputation for producing great actors and singers and dancers, doesn't it? And were you pleased that your daughter was 1? Because obviously she'd be on solids and easier for your mum, really, as well.
I had no clue. I just needed to survive. Yeah. That whole process, I just needed to, it was like, okay, now I have this responsibility. I need to do something, because I'm number 4 in the family.
Right.
And my brothers and sisters would always, kind of get me stuff. And I think it's the first time, like, a reality check that you're a mum.
Mm-hmm. Were you the only parent in your family out of all the siblings, or?
My elder sisters were.
Oh, okay. And they're in England by this time. Yeah. So they would have been able to babysit sometimes as well.
Yeah, no, I really had my family. Without them, I don't think I would have been able to get through drama school at all. So, and it was like after I finished drama school, my daughter was about 4. And then when she was 5, I started going to another church. Like, so much happened. I met Emmanuel.
Oh, your husband now, your now husband. Oh, so she was still a baby. So he was able to, I mean, that's a great, so I was going to ask you where your faith came into all of this. And obviously you're still going to church, and you met him. And then, so when did you know, can I be romantic and, ask a romantic question? When did you know, or when did you know that you were the one, you were the one, or he was the one?
It's really interesting because after I had my daughter, I didn't want to be in any relationship. I was actually fed up with men. I said they leave. I had this thing that I told myself that men let you down. And so I said, I'm just going to raise my daughter, be by myself. I had that going on in my mind. And then I had a prophetic word that I was going to meet someone. I was like, ugh, you're talking to the wrong person, because I don't want to marry. I don't, and apparently I'd always said that I didn't want to get married. But I think when I met this guy, he was completely different. And we became friends. We became friends, and then we were on that GK Real journey together. So I didn't want any drama. So it was like, no, this isn't going to happen. But because we were friends, we were working together. We were spending lots of time together with my daughter, because she came everywhere with me. I had a pillow in my car. If we were out late, she'd fall asleep. And so, I think when she was about 6 or 7, we realized that, there's something here. But the church we were going to at the time, the pastor was really supportive, and he took us through counseling, because obviously I'm a single mom. Is asking him questions. Is this something that you want to, is this a responsibility that you're willing to take on? Because you're not just marrying one person. And so, we went through all of that.
Wow. I've just linked why your daughter's so into music, because of course she would have been subconsciously absorbing all of that recording and all of that music.
Real rehearsal, every choir practice, like everywhere that I was, because babysitter, I couldn't afford to pay babysitters, and we spent a lot of time together. Every church I went to, she was with me. And that's why I said I had a pillow in the car, because if she'd sleep, she'll be. So
and then you went on to get married.
And then we got married.
And then you had another child. You got a boy as well, haven't you?
Gosh, another girl.
And how old is she?
9 now.
9, okay. And any sort of, has she picked up a couple of drumsticks or any of the same musical signs, or?
Loads of signs. She's doing it all.
Oh, that's good.
Accelerating, like, all of it. She's taking it all to the next level. I think we're trying to like hold her back a bit, but she's doing it all.
That's brilliant, because I was going to say ours, it's funny because we've got music all around, and when I sing they go, no mummy, or even if I play music in the car, they're saying turn it down, and I'm like, how can you be all around this music yet not be into it? So I'm hoping at some point, but they've been into the acting, as you know, but I'm hoping at some point. But you can't force your kids to do something that you want them to do, can you? It has to be
also how they do it, that they may end up like creating gaming music, or it looks different with the next generation. It's never kind of how we do it. They've been surrounded by it, and something somewhere is gonna, I'm sure you'll notice it. They may not be musicians like fronting it all, but it could be something else like producing, or
Well, one of them plays the piano, and we've just got him garage band with and got them into that. We had like a 4 hours when I was on it last week with them, but I think it's more I'm more into it than they are. But something like that. But so when you said gaming, because they just love gaming. When you said gaming, that gaming music, I didn't even think about gaming music. So that's a great tip. So on that note, so then you got married, you had your child, so then your child, so she's just studied nursing, and she's won The Voice. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? How did you so how did she initially, was it your encouragement telling her to go on The Voice, or did she want to do it by herself, or was it a surprise?
Helen told us that, by the way, I've applied. I think someone reached out to her and said she should apply, and then she wasn't sure. And at this point, she was in the middle of her degree. Actually, she had a year left to go, and we'd had a lot of toing and froing. I actually recorded it. She was my first guest on my podcast, actually. Because she said, after 2 years of nursing, she was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so what are you going to do? Like, you need to finish. You've got a year left.
Yeah.
And in the middle of all of that she applied to go. And at the time, it was via Zoom because we just come out of COVID.
Yeah.
She said, look, see how it goes. You know, you've got nothing to lose. You're finishing off your degree. And it was just really relaxed. There was nothing about it that was, you know, it's all or nothing type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she just went through the process, and then she'd be like, oh, I got through to the next stage. Excellent. And then, oh, I'm going to the auditions. You guys are going to need to be there for the live. I was like, oh, okay. And so there was no stress about it. I think we were more interested in her finishing what she started, not because we wanted her to be a nurse. She chose to be a nurse as well. It was more, if you started something, you need to finish it. You can't quit halfway. And it was more trying to drill that down. And when she finished, we were like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And then win was like
two trophies, so for finishing and doing the voice. So I'm just, if you've just tuned in, or I'm talking to Dele Edwards, who is I'm in awe of you, because she's a creative. She does theatre performances, so many TV work. She's a singer. She used to be in GK Rail, and also the mother of the winner of The Voice 2021. And I found an excerpt on YouTube of you two singing, and I wondered, would it be okay to just play it so people can hear how beautiful you sing, sound together? If I can just play, is that I'm just going to play a bit of it.
For your mercies never fail me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire, and in darkest night, you are close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I've lived in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. And every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness goodness is running after, it's running after me. With all my life I surrender now, and I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now, and I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now, and I give you everything. Oh, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good, yeah. With every breath that I am making, I will sing of the goodness of God all my life. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God.
Oh, oh, I was going to tearjerker. That is a family affair, because that's your husband on keys, isn't it? And producing it. Is that what happens in your standard evening in your living?
Not at all. Not at all. We wish. We really do.
Oh, I mean, that's amazing. So you're taking bookings, by the way, if anyone's watching and think, I want that in my church. Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've done an amazing job as a mother. We're talking about sort of motherhood today as the focus, although we, finding out a bit about your background. Amazing journey you've been on. So, as a mother, you've had, it's not been easy by the sounds of it. You've had your challenges and everything. So, but look at the look at your daughter, the work, what's the word? Oh, you must be really proud. You must be really proud. Yeah. So what advice, mothers are having a tough time, maybe their kids are just not going the way they want them to, or even the toughest thing is when you're going to church and your kid doesn't want to go to church with you. They're not interested in the faith, they're not interested in anything that you're putting on the table. What advice would you give to mothers if they're struggling?
Do you know what? I've been in this place of praying for families, because I feel like families are really under attack, societal attack, and just all of these, the pressure, that, and the power that's been taken away from families, and so sometimes you can say we're going to church every Sunday, and maybe that's the issue, is that we're doing things. We found that during lockdown we just had to stop everything and focus on who each individual is in the family, and begin to minister to one another. because it's easy to pack up our bags and say we're going to church, someone's going to preach a word, but there are things happening within the home that we need to pay attention to. I feel like God is really calling us to pay attention to what's happening right under our noses, and to pray and for insight, because we need wisdom. We can't do it on our own. And sometimes someone will say, oh, I did this and it worked. Someone will say that I did that and it worked. And you're confused. Like, what do I do? That will only come from God, because you've heard my story, the intricacies of that. It's my path, my journey, so to speak. And so each and every person will have the way that God wants to do what he wants to do in their own story. Mm-hmm. So we have to lean on him, mm-hmm. Wow. Not by power. We have to ask the Lord about the children, ask him, Lord, what do you want what do you want me to do with this child? How do you want me to parent this child? What wisdom do I need? Where do I need to go to know what it is you want me to do for this particular one? And if you've got more than one, it's different personalities, it's different characteristics, it's different, ways of speaking to them. You can say it to this one like this, and the other one, you have to open a book to say.
Yeah, one of them I had to bribe, and the one of them will do it for nothing. So, but anyway, we're speaking. Thank you so much, by the way. It's just such a privilege to know you. I'm speaking to here, and thank you for coming and spending some time with us here on UGN Jams. I'm speaking to Dele Edwards, who is an actor, singer, songwriter, and also a great friend. I hope I can call you that as well. How can people get in touch with you? I mean, you're on YouTube. How can people, have you got Facebook or a website? How can people get in touch with you? If they would like you to come and sing, do you still go out and sing for people? Or if they would like to just generally get in touch with you or come and see your theatre show or your podcast?
I'm on Instagram. This is Ayodele.
Can you spell that for me?
This is Ayodele.
That's really easy. That's
yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for spending some time with us here on UGN Gems. Will you come back again? I hope so.
Definitely.
Oh, all right then. Well, God bless you.
You too.
You've been listening to Heartbeat on UGN Jams, sponsored by Zoe Records.